is Jenny, and welcome to bUneke. Today we have a special surprise, and we have Joe Rock waiting inside right there for us to interview him. So come on in.
The new 98.9 WMMO Orlando's classic hits, Joe Rock. So now every artist releases a greatest hits album, and they'll throw a song on there that's like a throwaway that they've never released before. Not Tom Petty, though. He did his greatest hits, put this one on it. It became a hit all on its own. Last Dance with Mary Jane on the new 98.9 WMMO.
Hey y'all, welcome to bUneke, and today we have a special treat. We have the famous Joe Rock here. I am so excited because not only is it Joe Rock, who's super famous, I also work with him. This is
you do.
He is my colleague. We work here at Cox Media Group, and I'm just so excited to interview you. So, are you ready?
Absolutely. It's a little bit different for me because most of the time I'm the person who's interviewing somebody else. So now the shoe's on the other foot.
Ooh, so you're in the hot seat today.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start. Take us through the day of Joe Rock. What is it like to be Joe Rock?
Well, it's not simple. That's the first thing. A lot of people want to know if I do the same thing every day, and it's really very different. My hours on the air are the same. I start at 10 o'clock in the morning, I end at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but everything on either side of that is completely different. Most mornings I get up early. I wake up at an early hour of the day. I shouldn't say I get up early. I usually get up later than I planned on getting up. Get into the car, get out onto the road, realize I'm in traffic, speed, probably anger a lot of other people on my way to work, stop, grab a cup of coffee, come running in here like it's a storm, and I'm ready to go to work. And I jump on the air, and the best part of my job is, no matter how late I was out last night. So, for instance, the day we're doing this, I was out last night at the House of Blues. Billy F. Gibbons of ZZ Top played. It was a great show. I know some of the crew here was out at the show last night. Had a great time. When the show was all over, I got a chance to sit with Billy in the band and his drummer Matt Sorum, who was in Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver. So we sat, we chatted. By the time I got home, it was late. I had to put together a blog to get on the air today for the show last night because I promised everyone at the House of Blues that it would be up on Facebook today. So by the time I went to sleep, it was 2:30 in the morning. Now I have to be, when you start work at 10 o'clock in the morning and you're a DJ, that doesn't mean you walk in at 10 o'clock. That means you better walk in at least 9:30 so you can start to plan everything you're going to do. So I get in here and I come in like it's a storm coming in. And the best part is, even if I'm exhausted, we're playing rock and roll. And I turn it up really loud in the studio here, and every now and then people walk by that window over there and just like look, because I'm sure they can feel the glass shaking because I've got the music up that loud, and and it gets me through to the end of my day. And then there's all the things that people don't think about that we do as DJs. When the day's over, if there's any commercials I have to record, I have to do them. A big part of my job these days is social media, and it's kind of funny because I get to go sometimes and speak at schools, whether they be universities or high schools, and the students love the fact that I get paid to do Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They're like, how do I get that job? So I have to do a lot of that as part of my job, and that I actually love that because that keeps me really connected with everybody. I'm really excited about all the things that go forward. Then I have this daily feature that I have to make sure I film. It's called Rock on Rock. I have to admit, I kind of stole it from HGTV. They had this show called Holmes on Homes, and the gentleman's name was Holmes, Holmes.
Yeah.
Right. And he would go and he would repair people's homes, and that's what the whole show was about. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I've got it. Rock on Rock. And I went to my boss. I'm like, I got a show. He's like, what is it? I'm like, Rock on Rock. He goes, yeah, but what is the show? I'm like, I don't know yet. I got the name though, so we're there. So we started with that. So what it is it's a calendar feature. It's Today in Rock. So today is actually the day we're actually filming this is November 7th, and it was today that Guns N' Roses were supposed to kick off a tour in 2002 in Vancouver, Canada.
Guns N' Roses.
But Axl Rose didn't show. He claimed there was flight delays, and the fans kind of got upset, and police had to subdue them with pepper spray. And then it was also today in 2017 at Elton John's AIDS Foundation fundraiser in New York City at St. John of Divine that Aretha Franklin performed, and it was her last performance.
Oh.
So that's what today was all about. And I filmed something for every single day of the calendar year. And it's just usually short, between 30 seconds and a minute, and it's just because that's what my passion is.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and I was growing up and I listened to radio, the DJs who gave you all this information behind the records, why a song was written, or that it was so-and-so's birthday or anything like that. That's what I really connected with. And, my parents used to say to me, I don't understand. You can't remember anything for your schoolwork, but you know who played everything on, you're never going to be able to make a living like that.
Yeah.
Turns out you can.
Yeah. You only remember what you really, really want to remember.
Exactly. So I shoot those videos, and then from there, it's like, who knows? I could have an interview that I got to do with somebody, or just, I'm lucky because I get to do what I love to earn a living. Not everybody gets to do that.
That's so inspiring. That's so cool. So how long have you been doing this now?
I started out in 2001. Okay. That was when I first started as an on-air personality. And the funny thing is, the amount of people who think I've been doing it so much longer. So like every now and then I'll run into people when I'm out and they'll be like, I've been listening to you my whole life growing up. And I'm like, you're 17? It's kind of funny when that happens. But yeah, I started in 2001.
That's so cool. Wow. I remember 2001, but I was just a little bittle kid.
Okay, let's move on from that.
No. So, out of your whole time that you've been doing this now, for a long time, since 2001, what is the most memorable experience or the coolest experience you have ever encountered?
It's so different. There's been so many different things I've got to do.
Yeah.
Through my job and everything. I'm also a musician. I play guitar, I sing. I've had the chance to be on stage with people whose records I owned when I was in high school. I grew up in the Northeast, so one or two artists I may mention may not resonate with Floridians, but Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, I've had the chance to open for them and be on stage with the band. I've had the chance to be on stage with every member of Twisted Sister. I actually have one of the members of Twisted Sister in my band. I've jammed with guys who were in Billy Joel's band when he had all his hits, like Richie Cannata, the sax player, who he actually name checks, and it's still rock and roll to me. All right, Rico, and then he plays the solo. I had the chance to play with Richie, great guy, fantastic player. Members of the Dixie Dregs, members of Winger, members of so many different bands I've had the opportunity to play with. I've got to interview Billy F. Gibbons, who played last night from ZZ Top. I've gotten to interview Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. I've interviewed 3 out of the 4 original members of KISS. So Peter Criss, if you're hearing this, you're the lone holdout.
Come on, Peter.
I want to interview you, so I have all 4 original members of KISS. Things like that. And I sat back one day and I realized I started to catalog all the interviews I had done. How many of my childhood heroes I've gotten to speak to. So it's like, to just pick one memory out of that is nearly impossible.
Yeah, I can relate to that because, I've only been working for this company for a couple months, and just thinking back, listening to certain artists on the radio, thinking, oh, I'll never get a chance to meet them. Never say never. Wow. Just a couple weeks ago I met Brett Eldridge, who was a big inspiration to me, and I've met so many other artists, and it's really cool to basically say never, because you don't know where you're gonna go and who you're gonna meet along the way.
Amen.
Yeah. So you have accomplished so much over your time so far. What have you not accomplished yet, and what are your goals for the future? What have you not done that you really want to do?
There's a couple things in there. Okay. I'd love to get a syndicated radio show. Oh. I would love to be coast to coast, nationwide. But more importantly, having grown up in the Northeast, the #1 media market in the United States is New York, is Manhattan. I want to be on the air in Manhattan. I want to do that. I want to hit #1. It's all right, to take you into this, and I think it kind of fits for everything that bUneke is about. Since I've been on the air here in Orlando, there's only been a couple times that I haven't been in the top 3 for my time slot. And I'm a very competitive person. Not lying when I say that. So the last time that I was out of the top 3 and I was number 4, I said to my boss, I'm going #1. And she's like, no, you weren't in the top 3. I said, no, I wasn't in the top 3. I'm going to go from 4 to 1. And then I did.
Wow.
So I'm competitive. So it's like, I've learned if you say you can do it, you can do it. There's so many things in my life I've said, I'm going to do that. And people are like, okay. And I might not have actually necessarily believed it when I said that I would do it, but I said it just the same. And I will never say the negative. And because I put out that positive energy, because I go after it, I've been able to achieve some goals that, quite honestly, I didn't believe when I first said I could do them.
Wow, that is so cool. Wow, that's so inspiring. So everyone, please take that and remember, it's always possible to go number one, basically.
Yeah.
So there are millions of people around the world, really, that would love to do what you do. What advice would you give to them to accomplish what you do?
Right. There's actually a number of things, and quite honestly, the first thing is you have to absolutely love it.
Yes.
Because it's not always easy. There are days where you're frustrated. There are days, perfect example. I have to be on every time I'm on. So if I'm on the way to work and I'm on the phone and I get the Bluetooth going and I get into an argument with somebody and I'm yelling and I'm screaming, and then I got to walk in the door and I have to be entertaining. And anything that goes on in your life, you have to set aside to go in and do your job. So there are times, I've lost people in my life while I'm working, and I have to arrive to work, and you're listening at home. You don't want to hear me get on the radio, especially I'm on while you're working. You don't want somebody to come on the radio and be depressing while you're at work. I have to put that aside and come on and be entertaining and be upbeat. So you have to love what you do. You have to care about this. And you know what? When you first start out, it doesn't always pay great. And the other thing you have to be is you have to be self-motivating. You have to want to go after it. You have to look at things and be like, there's a mountain and I'm going to scale that mountain. And you have to be the kind of person who digs in at the bottom. Even if you don't have a rope, you're digging in with you're clawing your way up. You got to be ready to do that. And you have to be prepared to continually educate yourself. If you look around at everything behind us here, radio's computerized these days. It wasn't before. There were days when we played records and you put them on a turntable and you dropped the needle and you had to listen in the headphones to make sure you were at the beginning of the song to hit play to make it go. And then we played CDs after that. And then CDs were gone, and now we're playing audio files that are on a computer. And just looking at the way the music industry overall has gone, I don't even know if it's going to continue to work like that, or if there's going to be some other technology that's going to come in.
Right.
You have to constantly change and educate yourself.
Right.
You can actually see right up here on the screen over here, this is an audio editing program. And that's actually an interview I did on there, and you have to learn how to record and edit. When I first started recording and editing interviews and everything, we were working with tape and razor blades, and that's how you edit it. Like, we look around at the whole crew here, everybody's got a digital camera, and that's how we're working. If I talk to them about what it takes to, and I'm sure you probably do some of the editing and shooting and everything, you know what it's like to edit on a digital program.
Yes.
What do you think it was like when they were dealing with film?
I couldn't. I couldn't.
So that's it. You have to continually educate yourself. You have to love it. And you have to be willing to advocate for yourself. You have to be willing to stand up and go, I want to do that. When I got my first opportunity to work in radio, I was older than most of the other people who were in the room. And I got my job and I started out at the bottom. But the difference was I was mature enough to know certain things, certain behaviors that you just learn. It's not a shot at people who are younger. It's experience. I had the experience in that way. I needed to learn the experience in the industry. And then what happened is, every time there was an opportunity at the station, I put my hand up and said I'd do it. They'd be like, "Oh, we need somebody to work Labor Day." I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And then next thing you know, you blinked, and I made all these advances in my career because I was willing to do stuff that other people weren't. Because I wanted to put in the hard work. And that's really what it takes. And if you love it, it doesn't seem so bad. We were talking about the fact that last night we were out of the concert. I was there for work.
Yes.
If I hadn't been there for work, I probably would have been there anyway. When I was in high school, I spent my money on buying records and buying concert tickets.
My dad did too.
I'm no longer in high school. I don't know if you can tell. But
I would never guess.
Right. Still, most of my attention and funds go to buying music and going to shows. I'm still the same guy, just hopefully a little smaller.
Aw. But I mean, just music is just therapy, you know? Some people turn to music as therapy, just to escape the present world and go into a different world. And it's something that you truly love, and as do I, because I'm a singer-songwriter myself. And
there you go.
Music is just, it speaks to you, yes, but it speaks to you. Like it's something that you just can't compare to anything else.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, everything I do is about music. There's nothing in my life that I'm like, that music's not involved in, and that's perfect, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, when I talk to people who knew me whenever, they're always like, when I first started working in radio, they're like, oh my God, that's so perfect for you. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking your time to interview with us. Listen to Joe Rock at 98.9 WMMO here in Orlando, Florida. He is fantastic, and I mean, nobody can compare to you, man.
Well, thank you very much.
You are number one to me. So thank you so much. Please stay tuned for more videos. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to all of them. Follow us. We would greatly appreciate it. And bye.